So this is Jackie Torrence. Jackie Torrence was a storyteller. She was an amazing storyteller. She was able to mesmerize people with her voice, her facial expressions, her hand gestures. It just made a story come to life. Not even having pictures to be in front of you or having the words there. Jackie was really expressive. When I found her, my life changed a lot. As a teacher, as a storyteller, and just trying to get people to hear my voice. So this is the book that changed my life when it came to storytelling. Jackie Tales. I found this book one day at a discounted store. I found like 4 or 5 copies, even bought copies to give out to some of my students. My aunt even bought one. And whenever I pulled this book out, my classes would get extremely quiet. It's like, okay, we're getting ready to hear a Jackie tale. So what I'm going to do with this series is just kind of share some of my favorites of Jackie tales. Some of them may be scary. Some of them are folk tales with Brer Rabbit. But storytelling is big in Black culture. A lot of times people couldn't read, but they would share stories, and it was entertaining. So here's one of my favorite Jackie Tales story. So sit back, relax, and listen. Hey, it's Miss Felix, the librarian. So today I'm going to share with you a story from this book, Jackie's Tales by Jackie Torrence. Absolutely love this book, and I love Jackie Torrence. She's an excellent storyteller. The story I'm going to share today is called My Tale. It's a story that Jackie tells about her life as she gets her confidence and just some early history about her, but here it is, called My Tale. I was just a little girl when I was taken in by my grandma and grandpa because my mother lived in Chicago and I couldn't be with her. My grandparents lived in Second Creek, North Carolina, not too far from where I am right now. I spent 6 years of my childhood there. It was a wonderful time for me, but I was all by myself out there alone with 2 old folks who didn't know what in the world to do with me. And you know, I was born with a speech impediment. I had impacted teeth, so I couldn't talk real good. Grandpa would always caution folks, don't answer yes to anything she says because you don't know what she's saying. So everybody would just say, huh, whenever I asked them something. But I talked all the time. I talked day and night. I'll go on a walk with my grandpa and I'll say, Granddaddy, what's that? He'll say, that's a tree. Granddaddy, what's that? He'll say, that's a rock. And what's that, Granddaddy? Oh, that's another tree. Then, when he got real tired of hearing me talking all the time, he'll just say, listen, wait a minute. I'll say, what we listening for? Then he will say, I ain't gonna be able to hear it if you don't stop talking. Then they'll put me in the bed about 6 o'clock when they just had enough of me. When you hear me tell my stories today, what you see is a little girl who played by herself for years. Even after my grandpa died, my Aunt Mildred took me in. And nobody would play with me at my aunt's house because she didn't want no children in her house. So once again, I was all by myself. So I played along. I told stories out loud. I practiced voice all the time, making gestures, and because I wanted to make believe like I was on television. But what I really wanted to be was a dancer. I would leap across the floor on my toes. Bam, bam, bam. My Aunt Mildred would say, "You know they don't make tutus for elephants." My Aunt Mildred was a mess. She always was saying something, and she kept on me about something all the time. But that didn't stop me. So I danced with my hands. I'll sit in front of the mirror and I'll watch ballet on television. Then I will make those moves with my hands. That's as far as I can get off the floor, you know. Oh, it was wonderful. I just love to do that. But I still had that speech impediment. It engulfed my life. In school, when I opened my mouth to speak, everybody in the class would tuck their heads down and laugh. Well, you know that hurt my feelings. If they weren't laughing at me for what I said, they were laughing at me because I was fat and pigeon-toed, and whenever I ran, I fell flat on my face. Many a day I would go home with tracks of dry tears on my face. My dear aunt would say, "What have you been crying about?" They said I was fat. She would just get so angry. "You sure are silly. If they tell you that every day, then you wanna believe it." My aunt. Then in 5th grade, I had a teacher named Miss Pauline Farr. She was kind, she was sweet, and she was just out of college, and she loved her class. Well, we were exceptionally lovable children, you know. Miss Farr gave us an assignment. She said, "We've got 2 weeks before Halloween, and I want everybody to be creative and create a scary story, and then everybody will read their stories to the class." And I thought, oh boy, I'm dead. I can write the story, but I'm gonna have a hard time reading it. Well, I was sitting there in my chair trying to fight back the tears. Then they started leaking down my face. Then I started with the jerks. But sitting right next to me was James, the class tattletale. You know him. He told everything he decided to tell. His hand went up. "Miss Farr, Miss Pauline Farr, Miss Farr, Miss Pauline, Miss Pauline. She ain't writing." Ooh. Miss Farr saw that I was crying. So she came over and bent real low, and she asked, "What's wrong?" I told her. Everybody was laughing. But Miss Farr said, "Don't pay them any mind. I tell you what, if you write a good story, cross all your T's, dot all your I's, put all the commas in the right place, and spell every word right, I'll read that story for you. That'll fix them." I went about writing it. And let me tell you, I double checked my paper. I made sure that every word was spelled right, every T was crossed. I even put little circles in my eyes just to make sure they had a dot in them. I wrote about Mr. Henry and a mule named Ned on Halloween on a scary road. Miss Farr thought it was wonderful. She read it and gave me 2 great big red check marks. Check, check, check. Ooh, me. I didn't have to cry that day, because she patted me and she said, "You did real good." And I thought, you did too. I really believe my healing began with that story. Then I was in 9th grade and I found my favorite teacher, Miss Abner Agri Lancaster. She worked with me day and night on the way I taught. She helped me in school and she helped me in life. I was ashamed to stand in front of people. You know, I wanted to hide the fact that I was fat. If I had to stand on stage, I couldn't hide anything. But Miss Lancaster said, "No, darling, that's all right. The way we get by with that is to fix your hair. You have lovely hair," she said. "Fix your hair, fix your face, wear really nice clothes." I said, "But I can't hide my fat." She said, "You don't hide it. You feel good about it. You're not the slimmest thing in the world, and we know we're fat, so why get upset about it? If you work on that hair, nobody will know or see anything else." Miss Lancaster said, "Are you going to succumb to what a few people think and miss out on life?" "No." "Well, let's get on to living it then." That's what she helped me understand, that everybody can find their own place of happiness. Yes, you're born in this world to carry a burden. Everybody has a burden. But you gotta carry it proudly. Because if you look over there, there's somebody else with something heavier and harder than you. For years I told myself, if I lose weight, I'll be fine. I tried to be slender 2 or 3 times and I nearly killed myself. Then, when I couldn't walk so well, I landed in that wheelchair and I wanted to die. I walked out on the stage. I love to do that, you know, swing my dress like one of my aunts, my Aunt Sally. You gonna hear about her later. But I couldn't do that. So I thought for some reason, God put me in that wheelchair. Here again, I got another burden, so I had to deal with it. I decided to be happy. I think, shoot, this is great. Like my grandma said, you got to make yourself bloom wherever you're planted. And that's the end of that.